Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another backtesting video. So we're going to kick on from where we were. We're going to start the new week. So let's see where we're at. Okay, fine. We're just going to skip on forward. Okay, so the market continued lower. Interesting. Did it present anything? No, I don't think it did. Don't think it did. No. So we're going to go to, what day is that? Sunday. We're going to go to Monday. Next day open. Oh, hello. And then it's Monday, 6 o'clock. Go to next session. Okay, we'll take it to there for now. Clear all the charts. So if you've been getting any value from any of the videos thus far, please hit the like or subscribe button, or even share the channel with a friend that you think could benefit from this. At the end of the day, the aim is to grow the channel. Not so much to grow the channel, for me to hold myself accountable to the things that I want to achieve within the trading industry, to hold myself accountable to the things that I've set out to accomplish, the models that I've created, the rules that I've set, and ultimately to enable me to perfect my approach and understanding of the market, so that I can hit the targets that I've set myself on a week-on-week basis, to achieve the profitability that I'm aiming for. Now, if along that route you guys feel aligned, you see in value, you're able to improve your own trading models or plans and so on and so forth, then appreciate it if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, or as I said, share the channel with somebody who you think could benefit from it. But with that being said, let's venture out to the weekly. Let's go and have a quick look at the weekly chart. So we're looking at this week here, but obviously don't know why it does that. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Okay. So okay, so we had, let's start putting some meaningful lipstick on the chart. Not sure yet. But we'll see what. Just going to mark that up for now. And we want this low here. So we want to get that. And okay. So we're just going to put some lipstick on before we begin to analyze the markets. We just want to see where price could be drawing to. What's the general context at play? There for now. Can put that high in, but it's not really applicable. We've got there's a BPR on here. So we'll mark that up. Although, yeah, it sort of overlaps with the inversion fair value gap, but to be honest, we had the fair value gap up here that price traded into, which is actually a BPR, weekly BPR. Okay, so let's drop down to the daily. No, we had that, the highs. Just going to mark that in. Not necessarily saying that it's of value in any way, but I'm just going to mark that in for now. Okay. So if, well, let's actually that. I'm starting to slouch in my chair again. Sit up. There we go. Okay, so keep this going. And we have this overlapping Cibi. We've got this one here as well, which we will, well, in actual fact, as you can see with ES, there's a BPR in here. So same too with YM. I am going to mark that up just because it could act as the resistance level on ES. But NQ could still trade higher. But at the same time, we have got the CB in here, so I'm not necessarily looking at it and thinking that we are going to trade that high. This could be certainly a breakaway gap if a 4-hour. Let's just let's do that for now, just as a reference. Okay, so just looking at we obviously had the SMT there, but we'll note that on the 4-hour time frame. Which we'll go to now. So what we're alluding to is that there, which was, and that was the mistrade. And again, we'll mark that in. Now, naturally, this video today will be longer because we've got to analyze the market, order flow, and various other bits. So there. that's why we didn't utilize this. Never utilized that, despite the fact that okay, so we want to look at more near term. So market's obviously violated. We've got pretty much symmetrical lows, so we can assume we're potentially coming back there. Obviously the next inflection point is here. So this means that we could see a breakaway gap above the marketplace. Okay. I'll pop that onto here. Okay. And we want to acknowledge that candle there as the true week open. Okay, not sure why that keeps jumping around, but oh well. Okay, so we want this aligned SUI. Like I said, the majority of the time we want aligned PD arrays, or certainly that's what I look for. Everybody's different. So this would be, I mean, we had this SIBI here, which is the one that we actually wanted to see price stop at. So the likelihood is that the market is potentially trading to a, if we're going to seek lower prices, it's certainly going to trade to a discount. I mean, sorry, a premium of the range. So you've got the BPR and so on. But we'll have to see. So now I just want to, before we get into sort of the analysis, so we've got this Monday low here. We've got no high. So if we look at here, that's just a H4 high. I'd probably use that more so for targeting. And then obviously we've got this high up here, the previous week's high. So I'd probably just keep the previous high in. We certainly can mark off this low, that low, put in our previous day's low. So again, we're just looking at the PD arrays to see what we want. H4 for liquidity pool here. Now the reason why I put this in is because ultimately although it's the lowest sentiment, if coupled with a daily Kraken correlation, then it can be extremely powerful. However, it's still a high time frame key level. That's why it's going in. Now, I personally, if I was looking for a specific model after something else has taken place, then I would utilize this. But if I was looking to frame a high time frame, high probability trade idea, this is not the high time frame key level that I'd be looking at. I'd want to see at least some form of previous day's high. Now, where it may come into play is if we had a previous day's high purged on, say, NQ, but we had this purge. So let's just say on NQ purged this high here, and ES purged this high, probably trading into the CB, maybe even here. That would create Kraken correlation, and it's ran a key high time frame liquidity pool. So that would be extremely high probability potential trade idea. Okay, so we've obviously, we're in between two balances, so we just need to mark up the other side. In fact, what I will do, just for completeness, is we will have that. We'll just put that in here, just as a reference point. And now we can look at this here. So why do I mark them both up? Because ultimately one of them is going to hold. We're in between two imbalances, so this is, in my opinion, low probability right now. We didn't have a Kraken correlation at the lows. Okay, get this in here. And the reality is if it traded through here, then we're likely going to this high, irrespective of the BPR. Okay. Okay. Right. So we do have a previous day's high up here, overlapping the previous weekly high. Right, so we want to start looking at, let me just zip up the jacket, it's a bit cold in here. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, obviously if we're going to trade higher, then these CBs would come into play from a discount standpoint. Okay, sorry, from a premium standpoint. So should be on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday 26th. So there's no news. So the 9:30 volatility is going to be the primary driver that we'll utilize. So let's go. So we'll look at IOF first. So I'm going to venture out to the weekly first and foremost. We did have the high time frame Kraken correlation supporting lower prices, and the market ultimately traded lower, found support at the BPR here on ES. Obviously on NQ it did not trade back up into that level. Therefore, we could surmise the market being weak, wanted to seek lower prices, and that hasn't changed as far as I'm concerned. Drawn liquidity is still the low. So let's have a look at what we wrote last. So relative to the daily time frame remains bearish. Let's have a look. Okay, so relative to the weekly time frame, IOF is bearish following the high time frame displacement lower, coupled with the market violating the BC weekly and forming the BPR weekly. Okay, this was also supported by the high time frame Kraken correlation at the highs. Okay, so want to drop down to the daily. Old low displaced through, old low displaced through, old low displaced through. So old highs being manipulated, whilst old lows being displaced through. So that's still supporting the idea of lower prices. Okay, and we've got market symmetry at the lows. So certainly liquidity could be resting here. So ERL, RRL, let's go and have a look at the breakdown here. So if we refer to the daily time frame here, so potential breakaway gap formed following the displacement lower. Now, again, relative to the daily, weekly, relative to the weekly TF, the market traded to and through the BC weekly following the high time frame displacement and high time frame Kraken correlation at the highs, supporting the idea of the market seeking liquidity below the marketplace in the form of the old low weekly ERL. Now, admittedly, this low could be used to engineer liquidity. So market reprices higher, liquidity builds up, market trades down, purges that, and then we move higher. Possible. But for now, if the market were to trade higher, which it could do, I don't think there was a cracking correlation on the daily, no. But that low could well become a target. Sorry, gotta stretch. My back is aching. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Okay. So we're gonna leave it at that. But what I'm referring to is that this low here could become external range liquidity. See, especially depending on how we close today, this could become the target. Okay. Then this low, primary low. So SPs, so let's drop down to the 4-hour time frame. Just bear with me 1 second, I just want to make sure we've sorry, I just want to go back to the 4-hour. What I want to do on this 4-hour, if I'm honest, although it's not aligned, it just creates potential extra resistance here, where I want to confirm, does the market want to go lower? If we trade and close below the BPR, then we are, it doesn't matter what, I'd be surprised if we traded down into the lower quartile of the, or the lower half of the BISI and then sort of trade higher. If we trade and close below here, then the likelihood this market wants to continue lower. That's the main reason why I wanted to mark that up. Okay, so we're just going to put that in because it just gives us the key thing is the aligned BISI. The aligned BISI. That's the key thing. But what this BPR does is it just gives us extra context to confirm whether is there a likelihood that we are going to trade lower. Right, so SPs. So we've marked at the low. So I have noted the clean and clear swing point below the market, below current price, referencing the previous day's low. Okay. This KPL has formed below the true week open, where if purged, sorry, let's just say were it to be purged, could form an high probability trade idea. Sorry, if purged and coupled with high time frame cracking correlation. Furthermore, this is where near-term liquidity would reside. Okay, so that's all we need to take from that. So TO, again, this is just good for sort of referencing, although I did know I haven't put the so let's get that for YM. There we go. So currently all members are above their respective Chewy Copen. This could support the idea of high probability longs, high probability shorts if coupled by an high time frame cracking correlation above the marketplace. Okay, so just making a reference to where's price right now, above. Okay, well, if it's above, continues to stay above, that could form potentially, if coupled, a high probability short. Okay, to a near term target. Let me just get my mic a bit closer to me. Okay, so now we want to see cracking correlation. Do we have anything? So other than what we had at the highs, which was between last Wednesday and Thursday, there's currently no high time frame cracking correlation. So currently there is no near term high time frame cracking correlation at play. Therefore, in order to engage the market, I would be looking for a new high time frame cracking correlation to form above or below the 2 week open to support a potential high probability trade idea. Okay, so that's where we're at. So let's reevaluate. Order flow is bearish, weekly, daily bearish. H4 bullish. Okay, so the H4 is bullish, but the H4 being bullish is not supported by a high time frame cracking correlation at the lows. Therefore, this could be a retracement to continue lower. Not too sure. Just bear me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Just had to attend to something very quickly. So yeah, as we were saying, institutional order flow is bearish. We've seen the 4 hour switch bullish. However, it's not supported by any high time frame cracking correlation at the lows. Therefore, unless the market creates this high time frame cracking correlation at the lows to support further higher prices, there is a likelihood that we could see the market return back to these lows. Okay, especially with the weekly and daily order flow being bearish. So near-term moves higher from below the true week open are permissible. We can do that. But ultimately, in order to do that, I would want to see a high time frame cracking correlation with a previous day's low being purged to form that cracking correlation before then seeing the validity of seeking higher prices. Until that happens, I'm not keen to engage the market. However, if the market trades above the true week open, to be fair, I'm looking for the same thing. I wouldn't even want to see a rejection from that H4 SIBI. So this H4 SIBI here, we could reject. Would I take a trade off that? No, because although this cracking correlation is still in play and we've got the higher one here, I would prefer to see another high time frame cracking correlation. Now, the reason why I'm not keen on taking a trade here is because, number one, if the market was to trade lower, then I would have expected it to have happened at this SIBI here, the first one, because that would indicate that the market is exceptionally weak. This one here, you know, although we've got the BPR, so if we traded below the BPR again, then obviously we're confident to an extent of looking for shorts. But ideally, if we traded below the BPR, what I would like to see is a previous day's high form, market take out the previous day's high and then trade lower. So right now we're in a bit of a predicament here because we're between a BISI and a SIBI. If we're going to trade lower, I would have thought it would have happened from here, and it didn't. So that kind of indicates to me that the market wants to reprice higher to generate further liquidity here. Trade higher into a premium, and then maybe we'll see lower prices. So we've got a lot of things to happen yet. So let's just formulate a game plan for this session, and then we'll see what the market provides us, and then we'll go from there. So GP number one. We're going to drop down to, what I'm going to do is drop down to the hourly, then I'm going to move price on just to the New York session. There we go. Okay, then let's just sort of clean this up a little bit. And this one here. Okay, so what do we have here at 3 o'clock? We've got the London low. So we want to mark that in. Okay, so that can go there. Okay, and that can go there. Then obviously we're looking at midnight here. We've got the Asia high there. So we just want to pop out to the 4 hour. 1, 2. So this becomes a let's just go to there for now. Okay, so that is the Asia high, but it's a high time frame liquidity pull. So let's drop back down to the hourly. So this is now key significance. Hang on, just want to drop back to the 4 hour. There's potential SMT here though. Question is whether, let's just mark this up. And just so we're clear, we're looking at that. That's what I'm referring to. And then obviously here, just bear with me again, folks. Apologies. And we're back. Okay, so let's see where we're at. So I noted the fact that that we have a potential Kraken correlation forming. So I'm just going to mark up the levels. So obviously, but you've also got to bear in mind we've traded back into the so we're at a H4 inflection point. So it's quite plausible that we move higher from here. So that's why, and with the BPR being sort of key. So we're just going. Oh God, I don't know why it does that. Super annoying. Okay, so we're just gonna have that in there for now. I'm not necessarily, looking at that with any sort of major significance at present, but we'll see. There has been an hourly purge, so I mean, at the point of sort of this, there's probably a trade idea in there. Purge that down, probably a 15-minute order block, and so on. So, well, actually, let's confirm the H4. So we'll just mark the H4 up as reference. In fact, let's just halfway, that'll do. Oh. Oh. What happened there? Interesting. What happened there? Interesting. Anyway. Right, so where are we? Let's get that back onto full screen. Right, so high probability order block, H4. I'm going to mark that up. God, that really irritates me. That sort of overlaps with that there. And just going to put it on here as well. Okay, right, so creaky chair. Let's go back to the hourly. I think we've marked up the elements that we wanted to note on the hourly. Obviously got the inversion fair value gap there. We've got this SIBI, which we probably want to mark that up. It certainly gives the indication of the market wanting to trade lower. use a small one in here. Like so, and let's just make the same notation on YM. Okay. All right. So, and one other thing. This high in there. Okay. Right, okay, so game plans. So we've noted that there is a potential cracking correlation here. Hasn't yet delivered. So we've got the H4 order block marked up. However, we have seen a rebalancing here on NQ and on there is one essentially on YM as well. So that could be the catalyst seeing price go lower anyway, and then ultimately we can determine what's likely going to infer at the lows. Let's go to the H4. I mean, ultimately, if we were to look at mean threshold here, didn't purge. It has ultimately held. So if we just drop down to the M15 momentarily, so you're looking at that low. Order block was formed there. Now whether it's the case, and then obviously here. I personally am going to wait. So in terms of game plan, Okay, well, first and foremost, market's now below the true week open. So ideally, I want to be buying below here, but I've got nothing to frame. Buys off of, unless we trade all the way down here, which is kind of not what we want to see. Just bear with me. Oh God, what is my computer doing? Okay, so all the hallmarks of this hourly order block being here, market traded back into it. So this has all the hallmarks right now of ultimately a model, and that's already in play. So, and because we are sort of in between two imbalances, I would need to. I'd want to wait and see what the BPR. Hang on, we traded through that BPR though. No, this is a. Maybe I should do this. Bullish BPR. Okay, but if we trade through that, well, then that's going to present a completely different set of scenarios. So the trade idea, if we were going to take from the SIBI here, is already in play, and the reason being is if we go to the hourly time frame. If we go to the hourly time frame, we've obviously got the order block here, so the market trades down. The hourly order block there, which you can utilize. Obviously, you can also utilize the M15, but for the purpose of this, in terms of the displacement lower, it's confirmed the hourly now in terms of second chance entry. It traded through, you engage it there, that candle. So this candle here confirmed, closed actually, and then this one limit order here. Okay, so that's in play. So really, the only thing that I would consider is potentially one model. Well, two models. So, number one, and neither of these are sort of preferred, but nonetheless with what we have. So if the market was to trade above the true week open, and all members purge their old high H4, however, forming PDA SMT. Oh, just bear with me a second. I want to double check that. No, actually that's not required. It's not required. So let me just get rid of that. So if the market trades above the, so if the market trades above their respective true week open and forms high time frame SMT at the old high H4, supported by low time frame confluences, this could, I can't spell confluences now, this could support lower prices. Okay, so that's one. Two, if the market, oh sorry, hold on. With price being below the true week open, if the market continues to displace lower on the H1 TF and then forms either PDA SMT or low time frame SMT at the imbalance, at the H1 imbalance, this could support lower prices. Okay, so they're really the only two that I'm looking at. Can't really see any other. So if price purges this high, fails to, that's a possibility. Sorry, yeah, we can go to the. So yeah, if price purges this high, or purges this high but fails to on here, gives us a signal that could be to the London low. That could be a trade. Or if price displaces lower and then trades up into an imbalance and gives us a signature, that could also be a trade as well. So they're the only two that I'm really going to be focusing on. So I'm going to go down to the M15 now. We're going to just mark up where our equities open is, which is there. We're going to now use the M5 to forward on time, and then we'll resume once we've seen something occur. So first thing is do any of the members purge the London low? I want to get to, okay. So the answer so far is no. Let's just drop back out to the H1. Swing high, swing low forming here. Nothing as of yet. So just going to drop this down to the M1 minute candle intervals, and then we're just going to continue. So we're now approaching sort of the news embargo. Want to see. Bear with me. I just want to drop out to the H1. Ultimately, we did have SMT here as well, didn't we? But the market is struggling to let's just go here a second. So that's what I'm referring to. If we look at that candle there, so here, I mean it's high resistance, and it's also formed. I'm not going to mark it because it's formed pre-market anyway. This is formed pre-market, so not too worried by it. But let's continue. I'm going to equities open. Okay, so ES and YM have now purged their London low. Just want to jump out to the hourly, see where we are. Sorry, the 4 hour. See where we are in proximity to the BPR. It certainly looks as though we're likely to trade through it, which then supports the idea of lower prices. Do we have a H1 imbalance form? No, it's all pretty balanced. Yeah, all pretty balanced. Okay, so we'll continue to equities open. So as I said, potential SMT at the lows to see short-term higher prices, but we'll see. Now okay. So not at equities open yet, but the 9 o'clock candle has completed. So Just going to venture out. So now we haven't got this. Is not a short-term high. Nothing's really changed. See the 8 o'clock candle completed. Sorry, I did say 9 o'clock. I meant the 8 o'clock candle. Certainly looking rather bearish at present. Drop down to the 15. Still high resistance liquidity run in terms of price. Really not following through. Okay. Not that equity's open yet. I see the market wants to continue. And okay. Bear with me. Okay, so now all of them have purged the London low. So this is now sort of indicating lower prices. There's obviously a SIBI there, but it's not a. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong time frame. Pretty balanced on the H1 time frame, so nothing. Certainly looks as though that played out. However, again, this was all pre-market stuff, so there was no trade in here. Yeah, all pre-market stuff. So let's continue lower, or sorry, let's continue price action. Equities open now, incoming. Shot lower. NQ certainly displacing lower. Go out to the hourly time frame. Yep, displacing lower. Let's just get this. Expect to see a continuation of that. Dropping back out to the H1. Likely high in here, but I mean it's almost self-explanatory now in terms of what the likely draw would be. Go back to the 15, played on. Wait for the 10 o'clock candle. Oh, okay. So now we've potentially got some displacement, but we'll need to wait for the completion of this 10 o'clock candle. Sorry, that was the completion of the 9 o'clock candle. So it's very likely that NQ is going to purge its low. There it goes. So now if we take a look at things, potential crack and correlation forming at the lows. Okay. So really nothing to do yet. Want to see See, there's no H1 liquidity pool here, so I wouldn't be looking for a reversal. I'd actually be looking for a continuation, unless the market engineers liquidity on ES, which is unlikely now. Okay, could do it now. Sorry, no, it wouldn't. This is the 15-minute time frame, so no. If we went to the hourly, it's just a straight drop. So ES very likely to trade through. We're now outside the trade execution window as well, so all bets are off now. So just want to see if ES purges that low as well. Certainly looking closer. Heading towards the lunch period. So obviously we saw how they both traded through their balanced price ranges, ES and YM. Okay, so we've got to the lunch period. I'm going to leave this one here. So the takeaway obviously is that institutional order flow from the higher time frame was bearish. If we look at if we want to see well, we can see how the market traded into the, well, they both did, to be fair, traded into the SIBI. Wanted to see, was there likely going to be a, is that Monday, a breakaway gap in here. Well, the key was then this candle here. Was there a H4? If we take this, we'll just use the BPR one for now. Is there a H4 imbalance in that range? The answer to that question was yes, there is. There was. Price traded up into the upper one of it. Yeah, traded up into the upper. We had this cracking correlation here, supporting lower prices, and the markets ultimately traded lower and delivered to the high time frame target. So order flow was the winner today. Unfortunately, these formed outside of the trade windows during London and so on. There was no re-entry to engage the market and get short. So fortunately, it's just one of those things where you get a high time frame framework, but no low time frame confluences or low time frame framework to engage the market. So yeah, interesting one. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Again, if you've watched this far, fantastic. Appreciate that and appreciate you. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button or maybe even subscribe to the channel, I'd be really grateful. And guys, I'm going to leave it here and I'll catch you in the next one.